Oh, sure. The queen of digital thirst traps, goddess of likes, empress of unanswered DMs, supreme ruler of dog filter stories. Thinks she's the main character in a Netflix special, huh? Everyone's just dying to subscribe to her premium drama. But then, along comes him, the rebel, the renegade, the guy who dares to not bow at the altar of her overinflated ego. This dude? He doesn't send virtual roses, doesn't write sappy novels in her DMs, and brace yourself, princess, he doesn't waste a single brain cell trying to untangle the emotional mess she calls a personality. Why? Because he's already beaten the attention game. While the rest of the simps are out there groveling for a crumb of her attention, serving up their dignity like it's a cheap buffet, he just chuckles, shakes his head, and ghosts. No drama, no screenshots, no whining in the group chat. And the kicker, he doesn't even wave goodbye. He vanishes like free Wi-Fi at a dive bar, poof, gone. No signal, no return. All he leaves behind is her stunned, "Wait, what?" echoing in the void of her needy soul. Because, let's be real, this Instagram goddess who thinks she's the ultimate confidence hotspot, she's not ready for the guy who yanks the plug on her emotional Wi-Fi and keeps living his life like she never existed. And that's when the real show starts. Her ego, hooked on digital dopamine, goes into full-on withdrawal. Nothing shatters a spoiled ego like the icy silence of someone who genuinely doesn't care. Let's keep it 100. There's no punishment worse for a wannabe influencer than being ignored with style. Today, my man, you're gonna unlock the ultimate superpower, the strategic ghost. The black belt move of I don't care. The art of looking at her game and thinking, nah, hard pass. Because winning her over? That's easy. The real flex is looking at her and going, I'm good. But before you scarf down this wisdom like it's free samples at Costco, do the bare minimum. Hit that like, share this with the boys, and drop a "you're the GOAT" in the comments. It's not for me, it's for the algorithm, which is out here working overtime to keep you entertained. Alright, tears dried. Let's get to the good stuff. Number 1, the big lie of the unbreakable female ego, TM. She wasn't born thinking she's the last slice of pizza. Nah, she was sculpted, polished, and gift-wrapped by a world that told her she's a limited edition masterpiece. From day one, they fed her the lie that just existing breathing while looking cute was enough to have the world at her feet. Somewhere between fake compliments and "you're so pretty, princess," the monster was born. An ego puffed up with the hot air of endless male attention. She learned beauty is currency, charm trumps character, and selective silence is a weapon of mass manipulation. It's a cheap game where she never chases. Why would she, when there's always a crowd of extras running after her? Her throne, a fantasy. Her power, a mirage. Her emotional stability, a house of cards built on likes and heart eyes emojis. The more guys she's got kissing the ground she walks on, the more she's convinced she's floating above the rest of us. But here's the tea. That throne's made of soggy cardboard. Any ego that lives off likes, compliments, and club invites is one unfollow away from a meltdown. The arrogant woman isn't strong. She's addicted to control. She doesn't want love, she wants an audience. Doesn't want a partner, she wants a fan base. The nice guy? Oh, sure. The queen of digital thirst traps, goddess of likes, empress of unanswered DMs, supreme ruler of dog filter stories. Thinks she's the main character in a Netflix special, huh? Everyone's just dying to subscribe to her premium drama. But then, along comes him, the rebel, the renegade, the guy who dares to not bow at the altar of her overinflated ego. This dude? He doesn't send virtual roses, doesn't write sappy novels in her DMs, and brace yourself, princess, he doesn't waste a single brain cell trying to untangle the emotional mess she calls a personality. Why? Because he's already beaten the attention game. While the rest of the simps are out there groveling for a crumb of her attention, serving up their dignity like it's a cheap buffet, he just chuckles, shakes his head, and ghosts. No drama, no screenshots, no whining in the group chat. And the kicker, he doesn't even wave goodbye. He vanishes like free Wi-Fi at a dive bar, poof, gone. No signal, no return. All he leaves behind is her stunned, "Wait, what?" echoing in the void of her needy soul. Because, let's be real, this Instagram goddess who thinks she's the ultimate confidence hotspot, she's not ready for the guy who yanks the plug on her emotional Wi-Fi and keeps living his life like she never existed. And that's when the real show starts. Her ego, hooked on digital dopamine, goes into full-on withdrawal. Nothing shatters a spoiled ego like the icy silence of someone who genuinely doesn't care. Let's keep it 100. There's no punishment worse for a wannabe influencer than being ignored with style. Today, my man, you're gonna unlock the ultimate superpower, the strategic ghost. The black belt move of "I don't care." The art of looking at her game and thinking, "Nah, hard pass." Because winning her over? That's easy. The real flex is looking at her and going, "I'm good." But before you scarf down this wisdom like it's free samples at Costco, do the bare minimum. Hit that like, share this with the boys, and drop a "you're the GOAT" in the comments. It's not for me, it's for the algorithm, which is out here working overtime to keep you entertained. Alright, tears dried. Let's get to the good stuff. Number 1, the big lie of the unbreakable female ego, TM. She wasn't born thinking she's the last slice of pizza. Nah, she was sculpted, polished, and gift-wrapped by a world that told her she's a limited edition masterpiece. From day one, they fed her the lie that just existing breathing while looking cute was enough to have the world at her feet. Somewhere between fake compliments and "you're so pretty, princess," the monster was born. An ego puffed up with the hot air of endless male attention. She learned beauty is currency, charm trumps character, and selective silence is a weapon of mass manipulation. It's a cheap game where she never chases. Why would she, when there's always a crowd of extras running after her? Her throne, a fantasy. Her power, a mirage. Her emotional stability, a house of cards built on likes and heart eyes emojis. The more guys she's got kissing the ground she walks on, the more she's convinced she's floating above the rest of us. But here's the tea. That throne's made of soggy cardboard. Any ego that lives off likes, compliments, and club invites is one unfollow away from a meltdown. The arrogant woman isn't strong. She's addicted to control. She doesn't want love, she wants an audience. Doesn't want a partner, she wants a fan base. The nice guy? Don't need to post some cheesy sunset quote on your story with a Coldplay soundtrack. Nah. Real shade is quiet, precise, ice cold. It's an absence that hits her right in the soul. The arrogant woman isn't scared of hate. She loves a fight, thrives on watching you lose your cool, trying to figure out what went wrong. Drama's her entertainment, she's the star, and you're just the frantic sidekick. But silence? Oh man, silence is the season finale she didn't see coming. She needs to be seen, needs to be heard, needs someone, anyone clapping, commenting, begging for her attention. She's an actress hooked on the spotlight, so when you pull the plug on her stage, she short circuits, not because she loves you, obviously, but because her ego can't survive in the dark. And the best part? You don't have to lift a finger. Ghosting doesn't take effort. It takes emotional discipline. It takes being healed enough to realize she's not worth your anger, not worth your reply, not worth your glance, not even your good morning. You don't hate her, you just stop seeing her as special. And for someone who feeds off validation, that's a kill shot. She's ready for the tantrum. She gets the jealousy. She knows the "I'll make him chase me" game. But when you treat her like just another face in the crowd, the mask slips, the crown falls, the ego implodes. because her ego only existed when it was mirrored in your adoring eyes. And now that those eyes are gone, guess what? She's not as dazzling as she thought. The silent treatment doesn't scream. It whispers, "You're not as big a deal as you think." And that whisper, it screams inside her for days, weeks, years, because you became the exception. The guy who didn't just walk away, he walked away quietly. And that, my man, is the one thing she can't wrap her head around. Number 4, when her pride starts to crack, and you're not even there to see it. At first, she puts on her usual show, fake smile, cryptic caption, bikini pic with some live your truth nonsense. All part of her "I'm thriving, didn't even notice you're gone" act. But the truth? Oh, she notices. She notices hard, because her ego wasn't built to handle the void. It needs an audience, a reaction, a pulse. And when you just vanish from her script, her emotional software crashes. Time, that ruthless referee, gets to work. Every day you stay gone, every story you don't watch, every post you ignore is a silent sledgehammer to the wall of pride she swore was unbreakable. And when she tries to poke you, tries to get a rise, and you're still unbothered, that's when the ground starts to split. Because now, she's not just trying to impress you, she's trying to reach you, and she can't. Because you're not in her game anymore. You left the stands. You walked out without a fuss, without drama, without a shady story post. And that's what breaks her. She thought she was irreplaceable. Now she's realizing she was just another one. And for someone who lives off the fantasy of being one of a kind, that's a gut punch to her self-esteem. She can keep smiling for the gram, but inside she's wondering, why didn't he come back? Why didn't he beg? Why didn't he text? Spoiler, because you leveled up. Because you figured out your worth doesn't need her stamp of approval. And when you hit that point, my guy, the power shifts. Now she's the one chasing crumbs. She's the one tasting the bitter sting of rejection, the one she thought she'd always dish out. And the real tragedy for her, it's not losing you. It's realizing the world kept spinning, and so did you. At peace. Without her. No public meltdown, no sad boy vibes. Because her pride fed on your pain. And when you didn't cry, didn't break, didn't beg, what broke was her. Silence, my friend. Silence is the slickest weapon in the arsenal. And the best part? You don't have to do a thing. Just keep not doing. If you're still playing the pathetic, always available nice guy, waiting for the next ego stomp, then you better hit the link in the bio and grab the digital book. Yup, the playbook for the comeback. The guide to breaking free. The ultimate how-to for ditching the court jester role and stepping up as the king of your own game. Because at the end of the day, you either learn to value yourself, or you keep begging for respect from someone who doesn't even deserve your glance. Your call. And pro tip, the world doesn't go easy on doormats. Number 5, a life where she doesn't fit. Her ego's endgame starts here. She needs to keep the fantasy alive. The sweet little delusion that, no matter what, she's still got a penthouse in your head. Even if you say you're over it, her ego demands she believes you're still shaking at her selfies, dreaming of a comeback, saving a spot for her in your happily ever after. Poor thing. But then you do the unforgivable. You grow, not for revenge, not to show her, but because without her emotional baggage, you're finally light enough to rise. And what do? You start building. Your body gets stronger. Your mind gets sharper. Your bank account gets thicker. Your soul gets deeper. The places you go don't have room for her low-rent drama anymore. And she notices. Oh, she definitely notices. You vanish from her orbit, off her socials, out of her convos, free from her emotional leash. And when you pop back up, you're different. New vibe, new man. One she didn't shape, can't control, and worst of all, doesn't need her. That's a death blow. Because her ego can't handle being cut from a script she thought she was the star of. She wanted to be the wound that held you back, the name no one could top, the before and after of your life. But you went and did the unthinkable. You moved on. And not to rub it in her face. You did it because she doesn't fit anymore. No VIP pass to your emotions. The bar's been raised. The game's changed. And her? She's still out there with the same tired tricks, the same recycled lines, the same worn-out playbook. She didn't lose to another woman. She lost to your growth. Because the real collapse of an arrogant woman's ego isn't seeing you with someone else. It's realizing she's not even a blip in your universe anymore. Not a threat, not a memory, not even a what if. You didn't shut her out. You just leveled up to a place where she can't get in. And that's game over. Number 6. The reunion. The final scene where you steal the show and leave without a curtain call. Yeah, she'll come back. They always do. Maybe it's a sneaky, hey stranger text, a random like on a post from 2019, or a whoops, didn't see you there run-in at your spot. But unlike the old you, this time you're ready. Not with your heart on your sleeve, with your soul locked down tight. Because the reunion isn't a rom-com moment. It's not, let's talk it out. It's not, maybe there's still a chance. Nah, it's the final test. Her last trap. Her ego's desperate Hail Mary to see if she's still got a grip on you. And if you give her even a flicker of emotion, you're back in her circus. But if you look at her like she's just some random from your old college class, if your voice stays steady, your eyes don't sparkle, your smile doesn't hint at anything more, then congrats, you've won. Real indifference is the sharpest blade. It doesn't attack, it erases. And nothing spooks an arrogant woman more than realizing the guy she once had on a string doesn't even flinch in her presence. You reply, sure, with surgical politeness. You listen? Of course. But with the same vibe as listening to an Uber driver talk about the weather. You smile, politely, but with zero soul. You stay? Nah, because you don't need to. And that, my guy, is the razor that slices her ego without a sound. Because her ego doesn't need your hate to crumble, it needs nothing. And that's exactly what you give her. A nothing so solid, so real, it hits harder than any argument. She was banking on your slip-up, your nostalgia, that spark she stoked for years. But all she gets is a man who doesn't hate, doesn't love, doesn't hope. Just moved on. The reunion isn't redemption. It's proof you've grown so big. She shrunk. Not because she got smaller, but because you got bigger. And now, no matter how much she primps, preens, or reinvents herself, she can't reach you. That's the final scene. No applause, no tearful makeup kiss. Just a nod, a calm smile, and you walking away. Because real growth doesn't make a sound. It just doesn't come back. Number 7. Ghost with dignity and become a legend. She forgets the desperate ones. The dudes who sent digital bouquets, cried in her DMs, begged for a hey on a rainy day. Those guys, dust in her attention feed. Too many, all the same. Same thirst, same neediness, same voluntary humiliation. But there's one, just one, she never shakes. The guy who ghosted with dignity. No long-winded texts. No I need space to heal speech. No fake I'm so strong flex. He just disappeared. With the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth isn't up for debate. And the result? He's a scar. The kind that doesn't hurt anymore but never fades. Because when a guy vanishes without making a scene, he doesn't just leave. He marks her. He becomes a ghost that haunts her ego, a silence that screams, a memory that lingers in the quiet corners of her mind. Why? Because she's wired to handle chaos, drama, fights, guys clawing for a piece of her attention. But the one who doesn't fight, who just walks off stage, she can't process him, and when her ego can't control something, it obsesses. Ghosting with dignity isn't running away. It's a statement, not immaturity, it's sovereignty. It's you saying, without saying, that you're not begging for scraps from someone who thinks they're the main course. And that, my friend, that's how legends are born. She'll try to figure you out, replay you in her head, scroll through your old posts, overthink every detail, not because she loves you, but because she can't fathom how you left without leaving your pride at her doorstep. And the longer you're gone, the more she builds you up in her mind. Because your absence is the one silence she can't drown out with stranger compliments or follower likes. You became the mystery, the what if. The name that doesn't pop up anymore but echoes every time she looks at some basic dude and feels something missing, something she broke. You didn't make a scene, didn't beg, didn't threaten. You just left like a man at peace with himself. And that kind of absence, she can't replace it. She respects it even if she'll never admit it. Because deep down she knows you weren't just anyone. You were the one she lost and never figured out how. Number 8. The final bet: coldness without a comeback. There comes a point when it's not about her anymore. Not about pain, not about anger, not about proving who was right. It's about you, your peace. The silence that doesn't hurt anymore, it soothes. The coldness that used to be a shield, now it's just who you are. Not an act, not a game. It's you. You're not holding back. You just don't feel anything anymore. And that, my guy, is the top of the emotional food chain. When you're not at war with her, you're just off the grid. She might try to slide back in, of course. Every villain gets their final scene. A hey, a like, a whoops, didn't know you'd be here moment. But you don't flinch, don't react, don't make room. Because your coldness isn't rehearsed, it's permanent. This is the moment of truth. The final bet. Where you either prove the cut was real or slide back into being just another name on her list of suckers. There's no middle ground. No, just a chat. No, let's see where this goes. There's only strength, resolve, consistency. Because the arrogant woman doesn't respect the nice guy who comes back, doesn't respect the emotional dude who replies, doesn't respect the fool who still feels. She respects the one who ghosts and stays gone, the one she lost and can't get back. And when she realizes your silence is the new normal, your absence is the standard, and there's no bridge left to cross, her ego implodes for good, because her last hope was your slip-up, and all she gets is your permanent indifference. This coldness is the end of the cycle, the signature on your freedom contract, and more. It's armor against every other woman who tries to run the same tired script. You finally get it. Your peace is sacred. Your time is gold. Your affection is exclusive. And you're not the guy who begs, waits, or tolerates anymore. You became the one she can't control, and that she feels, even if she hides it. Because she didn't lose just any guy. She lost the one who left without warning and never looked back. Number 9. Her ego is fragile against an unshakable man. She plays the part of untouchable. Movie star pose, autopilot smile, catchy one-liners, the confidence of someone who's rehearsed the role. Thinks she's got the game on lock. Thinks she's bulletproof. Thinks no one can touch her without her say-so. But inside, her ego's a sandcastle. Pretty from a distance, fragile up close. And what brings it down? Not a wrecking ball. It's the quiet earthquake of a man who doesn't budge. He doesn't react, doesn't explain himself, doesn't chase someone who's made it clear they're not worth it. He just is. Present, solid, classy indifference. And the more he stays that way, no begging, no bending, no spotlight, the more she shakes inside. Because an arrogant woman's ego thrives on emotion, drama, reactions, heat. But when it meets purposeful coldness, it freezes. She doesn't know how to play against someone who won't play. The unshakable man doesn't argue. He sets boundaries with his vibe, with a steady gaze, with a silence that says it all. He doesn't step back to be noticed. He is the distance. And that's when her ego starts to crumble. She's screaming inside, trying to figure out how she lost her grip, how she lost her power, how the guy she once tested, played, controlled, doesn't even blink in her presence. And the answer's simple. He stopped feeling. Or rather, he learned to feel without bowing down. This guy doesn't want payback. He wants peace. And when peace means more than any comeback, any memory, any what could have been, that's when he becomes untouchable. Her ego can't handle that. Can't handle not affecting you, not sparking you, not scratching you. You're a wall, a sea, emotional armor with a clean soul. And when she looks at you now, she sees a man who didn't turn to stone, he turned to freedom. She never wanted a difficult man. She wanted one who'd bend in an interesting way. But what she got was one who doesn't bend. One who stands tall, even against the most inflated ego. You're not cold, you're free. And your freedom is a constant reminder that she lost control. Not because you fought, but because you don't need to play anymore. Oh, so she finally gets it? How cute. The queen of digital drama just realized the show's over, and the leading man isn't even sticking around for a cameo. The last mask, the "I'm in control" one falls, and guess what's underneath? Just dehydrated desperation and a blank stare into the void of her own ego. You don't reply, don't show up, don't feel a thing, don't even toss out a "long time no see, lol." And what does she feel? Love? Nostalgia? Nah. She feels the gut punch of realizing the one guy she couldn't play was the only one worth keeping. Her ego, addicted to an audience, to knowing she's still living rent-free in someone's head. But you did the impossible. You silenced the stage, turned off the lights, closed the curtains, and slipped out the back. No dramatic exit, just the smooth finesse of a ghost. And now all she's got is the echo of her own "what the hell" that she pretends not to hear. You weren't cruel. You were precise. You left without a spectacle because you already knew the script. She didn't want love, she wanted control. And you're not a puppet for anyone's validation. While the suckers out there are begging for closure, crying for answers, or posting relationship manifestos on X threads, you just get it, accept it, and vanish with the cool of a guy who chose peace over the circus. That's the real period at the end of the sentence, not the bot. She loves to leave for a sequel. It's a hard O. No post-credit scene. No season 2. She, who loved her commas to keep the story alive, now faces the final sentence written by someone who had the balls to not come back. And what's left for her? The sound of silence. The notification that never comes. The reflection of someone who couldn't be unforgettable, just unforgivably forgotten. She didn't lose a man. She lost the one who knew exactly when to disappear and isn't coming back to clap for her drama. And that, my guy, you don't get over. You swallow it, alone, in silence, until her ego waves the white flag.